Good evening. A lot of times I hear an argument thrown out there against the Israeli government. I hear it from Piers Morgan. I hear it from a lot of people who are arguing against Israel. And they say, look, we understand what Hamas did on October 7th was horrible. We even understand that Hamas can't run Gaza anymore. But the loss of life is just too terrible. We already have so many thousands of children who have been killed, and it's just indefensible what Israel is doing right now in this war. I've heard this so many times, and I personally find it to be the most irrational, silly argument. And here's why. Imagine you have the following situation. One day, I'm hanging out in my house, and I have a neighbor. Me and the neighbor, sometimes we don't get along. So the neighbor comes over one day, comes to my children, and starts killing them. And he beheads them, and he rapes my daughters. God forbid. And he runs back to his house, and he vows that he's going to finish the job tomorrow. And he has, because it's his belief system, I must be exterminated. He's going to do anything to kill me and my family. But he hides behind his children. He sits at the table, but his children are right under his feet. And the only way to kill him is to also kill some of his children. Would it be the moral thing to do in that scenario to just walk away? For Kalman to say, well, since it could harm his children, I'm just going to let him come back and kill me in the future and my family. Obviously, no one would argue that that is the correct thing to do. And yet that is exactly the scenario which Israel finds itself in. It's not about the past. It's not about proportionality, about how bad was October 7th compared to how bad it is that children are dying in Gaza. That's just simply not the point. It's not really relevant. The point is the future. This guy is going to come and kill me and my family. I must stop him. And that's a sad, horrible situation which Israel has found itself in. We need to stop Hamas from rising again. And if we simply hold up our hands and say, too many kids are going to get harmed, too many innocents are going to get harmed, they will rise again. It is part of their belief system, and they will continue to teach their children to become the next Hamas members, to make the next October 7th and kill more of us. So we find ourselves having no choice but to remove Hamas, even if that means, sadly enough, terribly enough, some innocents being killed. It doesn't mean anyone wants to hurt any innocents. Israelis, for the most part, Jews for the most part, are kind, warm, loving people. They never would want to hurt anyone, certainly not kids. But we don't have a choice. It would be the immoral choice to just do nothing and give up and let them win. And not just win, but kill us in the future. That's the point. It's not about winning or losing. It's about defense. They're going to kill us if we don't stop them. So for all those people, Piers Morgan and everyone else out there saying it's just too great of a cost, give an alternative plan. Have a real discussion, understanding what does it mean to just stop the war? And if you don't have a good answer for that question of what would you do if you were the Prime Minister of Israel, if you don't have a solution, then you probably should just shut your mouth, because you're essentially doing what Hamas wants you to do. They're banking on the Piers Morgans of the world to publish their many fake numbers, to publish their videos, and to cry and to say, force Israel to be the bad guys and to stop and to withdraw. That's what they're hoping, that we stop fighting because we don't have the guts to continue fighting. And then they will rise again and continue their terrorism, continue their bus bombings, and continue their October 7th. And who knows if we've not just encouraged them to continue doing it for the rest of the world, to just continue doing human shields, and the West doesn't have the guts to seal the job. So again, nobody wants to hurt any innocents. On the whole, Israel is putting their lives of their soldiers on the line. Right or wrong, that's what they're doing in order to minimize the innocents being killed. That's why we have the lowest civilians to combatants rate ever in warfare. And that's why, horribly enough, so many brave Israeli soldiers have died, because we don't just go in and kill indiscriminately. It's the job of many units to assess, will this kill innocents or not? They're trying their best on a law level, on the Israeli law and in the IDF level. The law is to minimize casualties as much as possible. But it does not mean we should stop the war just because innocents are being harmed. The opposite. We need to continue fighting, because we can't let that guy next door hide behind his kids, as sad as it is, and plan the next October 7th. It's not about the past. It's not about proportionality. To be honest, that's irrelevant. It's about the future. We need to stop Hamas from ruling over Gaza and planning the next October 7th. And we have no choice but to make those terrible decisions of, yes, harming civilians in the greater good of saving civilians of Israel and, in my opinion, the entire West. I don't dabble much into politics. This is my first ever YouTube video. It just hurts me so much to be hearing people speaking so irrationally, so unthinkingly, and not understanding the full picture which Israel is sadly forced into. I hope you have a joyous day. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope there will be peace for all people, Ezrat Hashem, God willing. And if you want to call me up, Pierce Morgans or anyone else, and have a full discussion, get a coffee and weigh out the pros and cons, that's the type of discussion. It's not just, speaking negatively and misquoting and taking things out of context. Let's see things in the full context, which is a horrible situation which Israel was forced into. All right, have a great day.